Over the past 152 plus days, we've been bringing this once abandoned racetrack back to life, transforming it into what's quickly becoming the home for motorsports and entertainment across the entire Midwest. But it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows, as this journey has come with major upfront costs, unexpected expenses, and of course countless hours of hard work to get the facility to where it is today. To kick things off, Tifft is going to walk you through some of the latest financial updates and major changes on the track since the last time we covered this topic. As always, if you enjoy our content and are looking forward to seeing how incredible this place will become, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's begin.
Okay. This is the part where I tell you how much I have spent on the Mansfield Speedway project. So going into this, we bought the property for $2.25 million. Now that was the racetrack in its current state and the 178 acres that were around the entire property there. But of course, as you guys who have been watching since day one, and if you haven't seen the videos since then, I highly encourage you to go back and see how much progress we have made, because it is incredible. But of course, with that, there has been a lot, and I mean a lot of expenses, some that were predicted, and of course with any construction project, a lot that were unforeseen. So with that being said, let's get into a few of them here. I'm going to use some round numbers because there's no reason to give the exact small detail on all of these, but we had a lot of doors around the property. Smaller expense in the grand scheme of things, but big expense, way bigger than I thought it would be, was locks. And what I mean by that is we went through and rekeyed everything, but also changed the lock boxes on everything to where every suite, every door, every employee door in operation on there had the punch locks on there. We had to do, I don't know, 30, 40 doors on there, something like that. $14,000 in rekeying the entire property. Again, it is a massive property. So when you get into it, that is a lot of keys, a lot of doors, a lot of things to go through. So $14,000 just in rekeying and doing the locks for all the doors. Okay, next up, we took out all the inside walls inside the track. This was about a $25,000 project to go excavate them, get rid of them. There might have been some additional costs in here from our original contractors in here, but to go clear out all the rubble and stuff from that was $25,000. Our original first 3 to 4 weeks of projects in here, we spent about $110,000. So a lot of that was getting the power back online, getting some of the buildings cleaned out, getting a lot of the rubble cleaned up off the track around the property. Let's see, there's some electric in there, some HVAC stuff in there. Honestly, probably on the HVAC stuff, there's been, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000 just in cleanups. Really not replacing much on there, but just in cleanups and general repair, which is kind of wild to think. Now, some of these are going to be ongoing costs that we have not done yet. So the entire suites, the loges upstairs, we've not done yet. That's going to be a winter project. All in all, this will be about $185,000 project to go redo all the floors in there, the drywall, put in new furniture, new bar tops, new sinks in there, everything in that, redoing the bathrooms up there. Well, not redoing them, just getting them back online. So all in all, that'll be a $185,000 project. We have 16 rooms up there, a couple giant club suites, media rooms, our announcer rooms, scoring rooms, everything like that. So it is a lot of space up there. All right, quite honestly, I got tired of just driving my car around the property and ripping up our side-by-side. So we bought a bunch of golf carts, about $31,000 worth of golf carts, which we have a lot of golf carts there now, which is awesome. So $31,000 in golf carts. Okay, next big item on here is fencing. Now, we had to do a lot of fencing repairs. A lot of the wooden fencing had fallen apart and was crumbling by the railroads, but then also at the entrance of Crawl Road to the property. So some of that had to be removed. Other parts of that just had to be taken down or just kind of replaced on there. So, or repositioned, sorry. Not only do we have to go replace that fencing, but also to go obtain our liquor permit here, we are having to install a lot of new fencing. Luckily, what this is going to be able to let us do is expand the footprint of our liquor license and sell beer to more places. But to do that, we got to install new fence. So for fencing, the entire project there is going to be about $110,000, mainly in chain link fencing, but also to put in some slider gates on there. And that'll be a big project here that'll happen in November to December timeline. Okay, so some other track items. The wall itself that's being poured into turns 3 and 4. So this was a project that we started with one contractor and moved it to another. So with all that being said, this will turn into about a $165,000 project. Unfortunately, though, we did have to get something re-engineered in it for having to match the footer that the city was requiring on there. So that was a $10,000 fee to go get that redone from the engineering side. So that sucked. So that is going to be, what is that, $175,000 to go get that wall redone. That includes the rebar and everything else in there. And I'm kind of just giving an overview here now. Once we get the entire build done, I will go through literally a line-by-line spreadsheet of what has been done around here. But there's been some stuff too, like with our stuff like our fire safety around here. We've had to go do some changes around with that to make sure it was code compliant for our Halloween event. So we had to go do some bypasses there and go make sure our sprinkler systems were set up to make sure it get passed by the Mansfield Fire Department there. So there's some costs there, but we also have to go install a giant new suppression pump. So that's going to cost $30-some thousand to do that. So probably, man, I don't know. It's going to get close to $50,000 in just fire safety equipment over there. There's some stuff like in our tech shed there. We needed to have a tire machine, a 4-post, a 2-post lift in there to be able to work on our cars. So there's probably between that, air compressors. I mean, there's really just nothing in there whatsoever. Tool benches, tool boxes, just random crap like that. Probably about $15,000 worth in there. And then we have our concession building as well. Right now, it's being used for the haunts here. We only have a week or two left of that as it's getting late into October. But that whole area, we had to buy all new equipment for that. We had some items that were remaining, but a lot of it we could not use because of the condition that was in, or it just was missing. So we're putting it back to the original blueprints of that for the health department regulations on that. So that was close to $30,000 in concession equipment that we're putting back into there. So, you know, some of that stuff is just trying to get it back up and operating to pretty much how the track was before. But then you have some items to where, you know, we've modified some things, like we're putting in fiber lines, doing some utility work like with Ohio Edison, installing in some lines for getting electric to our Jumbotron when we put that in. So, you know, there's probably another 18 or so thousand just in utilities work like that, fiber lines, coax lines, that's that nature. We're working on IT sides of things right now, from Wi-Fi to cameras. So basically throwing another 30,000 in there. There's the other part too about our grandstands, beer garden, things like that we're working on right now. We know if we go full bore with it, it's probably going to be $1.2 million. We're working on other options though to see how can we maximize seating and not kill our cost on that side. So let us know too in the comments below, because like turns 1 and 2, for example, we can put in 3,000 aluminum bleachers for, you know, that sake on it, or we can just build a giant hillside and do hillside seating over there. So we're just trying to, you know, match up what we feel like the people would like the most, and also save on our pocketbooks as well for what we feel like would be best. So just trying to work through some of that stuff. Of course, we've been having our Halloween event. So this year we'll end up pretty close to a net wash on that, because we had to, you know, pay for all the actors to come in. We had a lot of marketing expenses being a year 1 event on it. It's been going pretty well. We really had to throw it together last minute. A lot of the supplies arrived, you know, just close to the time frame that we were opening, because we just decided to do it so late. We've been learning a lot and getting better on it, but there was probably $250,000 of equipment and inventory that came in that we can use forever, which is awesome. And Midway games we can repurpose for the racing season, which is really cool to be able to have that for fans. But with that being said, you know, we're not going to recoup that inventory and equipment cost on the front side this year. We'll just be able to wash for operating costs on that side of it. So, you know, just some stuff like that we'll have to work on year after year to improve that and get it going more and bring in more people. But year 1 costs are always just so expensive to get up and going. Oh, of course, we just had to print a bunch of signs and banners and, you know, get fire extinguishers and miscellaneous crap like that to put around the property to make it go, that you just don't, not that you don't think of it, it just kind of comes up as it does. So I'd say there's probably another $10,000 or so in there. Restrooms, oh my goodness. Our restroom 1, as we call it, our north bathroom, was completely stripped before we got into the property. So that was close to, man, $80,000 to get that back up and going. Then we had some roofing repairs on there, partitions that came in, and then we had an employee who's no longer with us, did not measure the bathroom correctly, so we had to reorder some partition parts on there, so there was another $13,000 on top of that. And then we had the south bathroom, which in its condition back then required about $45,000 to be put into. Then we had the tech shed bathrooms, which you couldn't use back then. We had to redo some electrical in that, and then we had to go repair some toilets in there, and then just a bunch of shit, to be honest with you. I mean, just so much stuff with that. I think at this point probably spent $250,000, if not $300,000 in bathrooms. I mean, it's just insane. But luckily we have bathrooms now. We have very clean bathrooms, and that's been a nice part of it. Just crazy stuff like that. Of course, we got other projects coming. Our billboards will probably be $225,000 to $250,000. The nice part about that, of course, is that's a sellable asset for us to go into the future, so they'll last forever, and that's something we can sell to sponsors every year. In fact, I think we're 1 or 2 away from selling out of them. We've sold out of the suites already for 2026, which is awesome. We had to buy our grader. I think that was $25,000. We got our skid steer. I believe that was $10,000. We had a sheep's foot. I think that was $4,000. So our water truck, I think that was $30,000, I believe, on there. So just miscellaneous items that you need to have as a dirt track, computers and things we've had to get for some employees and stuff around there. So again, another $5,000 probably just in assets on that side of it. So you get the point. The stuff goes up and up and up and up. We put in an entire access road around the back of it because we're connecting from our track to the motocross track to the camping and everything back there, and we didn't want it to be a giant bumpy road, especially for now, but also for when we do put in our Christmas lights, which we'll be doing in 2026. So that was $168,000 to go do that, but it served its purpose for sure already. Ambrose Asphalt did an amazing job with that project. We put in the motocross track. That was close to $90,000-ish on there. And then we have got some more projects coming between the Razorcross track, which will also double as a Jeep course. So that'll be pretty cool. Really excited to see what we can do with that. Then we've had more electrical projects. Honestly, probably you can throw in another $40,000 in electrical, just miscellaneous projects around the property. The other ones on here are the catch fence. For all the materials and stuff on there, about $365,000. We'll probably have another 25 to 30 in labor for installing all the pieces on that. It's over 2,700 foot of catch fence that goes into this place, which is pretty wild. So that's a lot of catch fence material that goes in. We also have our tractor, so our brand new New Holland there. It's financed, so it's $94,000, but it'll be financed, so however you want to chop that up. Same thing with our mower. And then you have like P.O.S. systems, for example. We have a budget in there for $15,000. I think we're probably a third of that right now, but once we get going into full bore mode for everything we're doing next year, we'll end up hitting that amount when we buy all our P.O.S. systems for all of our concessions, everything around the whole property. So, just stuff like that that's just going to continue to rise as we fully build out the property. Posters, banners, all that kind of stuff will be miscellaneous, probably under $10,000 for that. But then, of course, just marketing costs. I mean, getting things going on there, probably 30 to 40 for this year. But then, of course, as we get into next year, a lot more will come from that side. But that's just a cost of doing business. That's not really a count into the actual build of the property, if you will. We also had somebody come and spray all the fields and our parking lots and stuff to get the grass down. That was only $2,000 on there. So, those things are worked out on some friends and family deals, if you will, on that side. And then, of course, our clay. So that is coming here this next week, which we're very excited about. That's going to be a giant expense. There's no two ways around it. Trucking costs in there are going to be close to $200,000. Equipment rental costs are going to be close to probably around $12,000 on there. Labor costs and installation costs and things like that are going to be, somewhere in the $75,000, $80,000 range on that. And, on top of this, we haven't talked about utilities or, just things like that, permit fees, the whole nine on all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I've learned a lot too, working with the city, making sure we're doing things the right way from permits and things like that. It's definitely a process that I've not been used to in the past, but we're trying to do things by the book and make sure we're doing it the right way. But that's certainly something that I've not had experience with in the past. Not all racetracks really have to, because they're typically in counties or more country areas, but with us being in city limits, it's a bit different for us there. So that's definitely been, I don't want to say in a bad way, a hassle by any means, but it's just a process that we've had to make sure all of our contractors that come in are on board, and they make sure that they understand that they got to get it through that process and really follow their direction of what they're supposed to do, which you would think they'd be used to it, but not everybody is. We have to stay on top of them and make sure they're doing their job and getting their paperwork through and making sure everybody, at Town Center there is good with what we're doing. So we've been trying to get better and better with that. And so I think we're getting better with that every day. With that being said, we got a big car show this weekend and try to bring in some more income on that piece of it. And got some big Musco lights going in this winter as well. So all in all, there's still some other pieces here that I haven't discussed on it. Jumbotron cost will be about $1 million, just a blanket number on there between the screen and the framing on it. So just pop that right into this number. So I don't know exactly where this total is. Whatever it is, go ahead and pop another $350,000 on it, because I'm sure that'll happen, whether it's rebuilds, do-overs, additions, whatever. So there you go. There's the finances update. That does not include payroll. That does not include other stuff we've done. But there's your update today for the video of a finances update from the Mansfield Speedway. Now, one cool thing has been, that's all the negative side. Well, not negative, just part of doing this. But the positive side is we've been getting so many partnerships and sponsorships on board. So while we're spending a lot of money, we're also getting a lot of great partnerships for next year and for many years to come. So obviously that helps offset those costs. Got a lot of great races on the schedule and events for next year. So we're really looking forward to putting our schedule out here. We're hoping for the middle of November to do that, to show you guys all the events we have coming out for 2026.